Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
IndianaSRN wants to put more kids on TV. And honestly, that's exactly what these kids deserve. They stream more than 350 high school and college games every year, giving Indiana athletes the spotlight they've earned. All games are free to watch with on-demand on their YouTube channel. The cost is amazingly affordable, which means more kids get their moment to shine. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Hey Indiana, let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
A date you circle on the calendar if you're a fan of high school football in the state of Indiana. Opening week of the IHSAA football season is here, and it has brought IndianaSRN to Fortville, Indiana, as the Mount Vernon Marauders will host the Noblesville Millers. This broadcast on IndianaSRN is brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, your local hometown John Deere dealer since 1955 with 5 central Indiana locations. Reynolds meets all your equipment, parts, and service needs. Boilermaker Local 374, representing skilled workers across Indiana. Discover the Boilermaker advantage with Local 374. Burtner Electric, spark with confidence, your trusted electrical partner since 1986. Wheeler Mission, helping our neighbors in need since 1893, thanks to generous and caring individuals like you. The Morales Group, building better futures, one story at a time. Let us help you find your next opportunity. LifeWise Academy. LifeWise Academy brings Bible education to public school students during school hours. You can learn more at lifewise.org. Leuna, the Build America Union, 500,000 strong, fighting for better wages, safer job sites, and greater opportunity. And by the IndianaSRN sports page. It's sports from border to border, coast to coast, your source for high school and college sports coverage. Jarrett Lewis with you alongside Craig Cox. In for a treat. Like we said, opening week, Craig, it's always exciting. A picture-perfect kind of atmosphere and environment in Fortville. Yeah, I mean, us here, we're excited to, first of all, get this football season going.
No, I couldn't agree more. And you said it's so great. I mean, I don't know that we could have scripted a better weather night, but I'll tell you, we had unbelievable fortune last year. I think every week was beautiful like this, but a great way to kick it off. You know, I say every year I've been doing this since getting out of coaching myself is, you know, when you get to this time, the air smells a little different, the popcorn tastes a little different, there's just something about Friday Night Lights. And, what a great day for this to happen. And, better yet, these players. I mean, they're looking for somebody else across from them, different than a teammate. And tonight they get it here with a great matchup that we're bringing to you.
Yeah, the summer has passed. The practices leading up to week one. It's been highly anticipated week one for Noblesville. You get a look at the visiting Millers and a great turnout from their crew. Let's talk about Noblesville. Last year, a 2-8 record. They started the season 2-0, and then after that, they run through a gauntlet of 6A schools. But don't let the record deceive you. Every loss that they had, every loss but 2 games, was decided by 1 score. This was a team that was able to score the football, but defensively unable to really catch up with some of those bigger, powerful 6A schools that they ended up playing with throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing lost when you're in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. I mean, you're in a position, you indicated to it, they were in so many of the games that they lost, but it is a gauntlet of a schedule in terms of, when you talk about your Fishers, your Westfields, your Hamilton Southeasterns. I mean, it just doesn't stop. And so week in and week out, it's as good as there is anywhere in the state. And, so that's tough in itself. But I'll tell you, this is a close-knit, growing community that is hungry for, back to their winning ways if they can certainly get there. And I think that they have the guy at the helm with John Herbert to be able to leave them the former Carmel coach.
Yeah, Herbert comes in. He's had plenty of years of coaching previously and steps in for his first year at Noblesville. One of those 2 wins last year for Noblesville, other than a big win against Homestead, was against this Mount Vernon squad. Noblesville has had Mount Vernon's number over the past 5 years. They lead the series 4-1. Last year, it was a 43-24 win for the Millers. As both teams meet at midfield, we'll see who will get the football first and who will start on defense. Mount Vernon, similar type of situation last year, a lot of close games, a 4-6 record. They lose twice to New Pal, the eventual state champions in Class 4A. But it was a close game, a 28-14 loss in that first round of the sectional. It's been kind of a similar story year in and year out with head coach Vince Leidy. He's 31-16 in their 5 years, but a lot of around 500 seasons ever since they won that state championship in 2021.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's something that's kind of a little bit of a rebuilding, if you will. I mean, they lost a lot from a statistical standpoint. When you look at the skill set positions, lost all their 4 leading running backs, their 4 leading receivers. They do have a guy that's under center in junior Mason Myers, who had some solid numbers last year, both through the air and with his feet, kind of a dual threat quarterback where he threw for 9 touchdowns, he ran for 9 touchdowns, and he was a guy that eclipsed the total yardage beyond 1,500. So he's a guy that can get it done as well. And both of these teams are much alike in terms of areas. Noblesville is a little bit bigger community size-wise, but they're much in the same where they're very geared, community-minded, strong football traditions that both are looking to get back to their winning ways, and 2 solid coaches that really have a lot of culture and pillars within their programs that are very parallel.
We will see the junior quarterback in Mason Meyer and the Mount Vernon offense first up, as Noblesville declined on the opening coin toss, so they will kick it from left to right on your TV screen. Coach Leidy said he believes the quarterback Meyer, he's in a really good spot right now, finished off the season pretty well last year and now enters his junior campaign. We will see the offense out there for Coach Leidy to start off this one and to begin week 1 of Indiana High School football. Today's broadcast is a copyright production of IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Any use of audio or video without the express written permission of IndianaSRN and the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. Kicking off for the Millers will be Calvin Moody, one of the taller kickers you might see in the state of Indiana. He'll start from the 30, run into it, and we are underway from Fortville. Into the end zone for a touchback, and here comes the Mount Vernon offense. Last season averaged 26.5 points per game. They started the season with 4 straight losses. That was followed by 4 consecutive wins. So they started to figure things out towards the middle of the season and then ran into the eventual state champions, as mentioned before, in New Palestine, who is another team that has had their number. Mount Vernon trying to flip things around after losing the last 4 games to Noblesville. They're missing a man on offense. Trotting out there is Preston Cole, the senior. He's in, and Meyer will begin in the shotgun. We'll move Evan Privet to his left, and I think
I might get a delay of game, possibly.
Not a good start.
In a position where you're working out the kinks, and they're going to come early. You know, I was talking to Coach Herbert earlier in the week, and I'm sure a lot of it's the same with Leidy as well, is trying to maintain their composure and be in a position where they don't make the game bigger than it is.
The handoff is dropped by the man in motion, and Noblesville jumps onto it. So an awful start for Mount Vernon. You have the delay of game, and then a bad handoff on the jet motion. And it's a quick turnover. Noblesville will have premier position. Looks like they'll be at the Mount Vernon 15.
Well, I'm sure when they started the game, they didn't think their first possession was going to be after the first play on their opponent's 15. But nonetheless, they'll bounce back. But you want to be in a position, any type of contest, where you try to minimize the mental mistakes and lapses. But if you're flip side and Coach Herbert, these are the type things that you want to create turnovers.
I believe Myers trying to get it to Caleb Ashley on the jet motion. So now here's Noblesville and their quarterback, Windsor Hutchins, who will hand it off. A spin move, broke the initial tackle, and Noah Schinkel, a junior, gets it down to the 5. So a quick gain of 10 and a first and goal situation for Noblesville.
Well, this is a team, too, that you have in Noblesville that was very heavy on the run last year, averaging 280 yards on the ground and only 65 through the air.
Hutchins in the pistol, another give to Schinkel, and a touchdown on the second offensive play. Quick offense from the defense for Noblesville, and just like that, we're 40 seconds in. Noblesville's on the board.
Well, they got what they wanted in terms of just having those hogs up front on that line, creating some gaps for Noah to run as they'll go, as we see a replay here. Did a great job accelerating to the gap and crossing the goal line there to punch in the first score and to capitalize off what the Marauders gave them with the fumble.
Kick is up and good from Caden Lytle of Noblesville. So Mount Vernon will look to regroup. Noblesville liking the start on the road and up early at 7-0. Noblesville leads the Marauders on IndianaSRN.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Back at Hancock Health Stadium and Mount Vernon High School. The very first play of the game, a fumble recovered by Noblesville, and in 2 plays, they turn it into a 5-yard touchdown run for Noah Schinkel.
Well, if you're Coach Leidy, too, I mean, here's what you got to say to them coming over is you got to put that behind you. This is easily can be recovered from, but on the flip side of it, it can also destroy you if you allowed it. So it's very early. You got to settle those things, and it's always about that next play. So can't dwell on what's behind you, and I'm sure that he'll get them together, but that certainly has to be the encouragement. One interesting thing, too, Jared, I must say, that's new to the high school game is the Guardian helmets. It's not only that you see on the collegiate level a lot in practice, but it's starting to become having the option to wear those in the game. Last year we saw it with the NFL, even though we really didn't see but a few people, but it's made its way down with a safety standpoint to the high school game, and you see some of these kids tonight wearing them.
Yeah, you noticed it just as I did, and they will, Mount Vernon, go right back to that play that they tried to start things off with. It is a handoff to Crew Hampton. So Hampton goes nowhere. He was the one I think they tried it on the very first play. It was the fumble. Bad exchange between him and the quarterback Meyer, as the Marauders are still at the 20-yard line. 2nd and 10 as Meyer stays in the pistol. The other thing, too, it's you almost don't notice the Guardian caps because Mount Vernon already has the all-black helmets, no logos, no decals or anything. Here's the handoff up the middle to Privet. He goes nowhere. May have gotten one. That defensive line up front for Noblesville doing its job thus far.
Well, we had, even when Coach Leidy was talking about how they're really undersized, their game is more about the quickness, getting to the ball quicker and trying to expose the other's team. But size is certainly one thing that he indicated that they didn't have a lot of as he's had in the past.
The Marauders put into their first 3rd down situation, a 3rd down and 9. Meyer will roll out to his right, has a man open in the flat. It is Ashley, but a short gain of about 4. And now decision time for Coach Leidy, but he's going to send the punting unit out there deep in your own territory. Not going to risk anything, especially early on in this one after you gave Noblesville premier field position on the very first drive. Out to punt is John Duncan. He will stand at the 13. Good snap and a low line drive punt, but plenty of distance. Great punt by Duncan. Gets a nice Marauder roll, and it will be stopped at the 19-yard line. So now the first real look at the offense for Noblesville. They will trot out there. We got a brief look at Windsor Hutchins. He's a junior quarterback. Noah Schinkel got the ball in those first 2 plays and found the end zone. But Hutchins steps in as the junior, replacing Max Miller, the quarterback from last season. Only threw for 640 yards, 4 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. It was a very run-heavy offense, and I think we can expect the same this season from the Millers. Delayed snap, it looks like here. Everybody was moving.
Illegal shift, maybe. Let's see what they're calling that, or it could be illegal pursuit. Yeah, motion. But yeah, I mean, one that you want to keep an eye on with Noblesville too is junior number 2, Ty Holmes. He's kind of like that Swiss Army utility guy. I mean, he, not only is their return guy, but he also plays on the defensive side all the time. And then he led him in rushing last year as a sophomore, and he's utilized both as a receiver and running back. But Coach Herbert was talking about that they will use him more at receiver, but even a little bit less this year offensively, and be primarily more defensively.
2 tight ends set. Another give to Schinkel, and a nice hole up the middle, taking tacklers with him across the 20 to the 24. So after the false start,
Probably about 8 yards, it looks like, give or take.
Yeah, we'll call it 9, so 2nd and 6.
Herbert talked about as well, Coach, that is, very heavily with the run last year, but will be a multi-scheme offense this year.
Mount Vernon loading the box, expecting run. It's a fake. Hutchins rolls to his left. Man wide open in the flat, and some room down the far sideline. Big pickup here for the tight end, Danny Hamer. 6'5" sophomore. Big target for Hutchins to throw to. Pickup of 22 for Hamer.
And Coach talked also about we talked about their main tight end is actually Calvin Moody, but Hamer's sophomore, where they'll go with a lot of double tight end sets.
We've already seen Moody kick the football. This time the Mount Vernon defense ready for the run to Schinkel. He's actually going to lose yardage. Pushed him back 2. So it's 2nd and 12 upcoming for the Millers. The 2 wide receivers we've seen out there for Noblesville, Cody Prater, he's a junior at 5'8", and Alfred Alwine, a much taller receiver. He's on the outside at 6'3", just a sophomore. Pistol snap to Schinkel. This time they'll go towards the right edge, and the defense of Mount Vernon there and ready. Evan Privet got into the backfield. Also give credit to Mason Anderson.
Well, Privet's their leading tackler coming back for last year. Really will hold things down as the same linebacker a lot of times. We talked about Mount Vernon being a little undersized, but that's where they'll try to expose you with their quickness, and we've seen it here on back-to-back plays, getting penetration and into the Miller backfield.
Passing situation here. Hutchins looking towards his left, now over the middle of the field, overshoots his man just slightly. He was going for the taller Alwine. Alfred Alwine, the intended target. Good defense by the Marauders in the secondary. Jake Hinckley was there to help with the stop. And to punt for Noblesville looks to be Caden Lytle, who had the extra point go through. Good snap and a high punt. That will move Privet towards his right. Takes a bounce right towards him. And he'll do what he can. Gets the ball to the Mount Vernon 30-yard line.
They give some better starting field position, about 12, 13 yards on the return. And Privet's somebody that certainly will do a lot for them on all 3 sides of the ball with special teams, offense, and defense.
Third drive upcoming for Mount Vernon. This first quarter of play brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, the leading equipment dealer serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors throughout the state of Indiana. Nothing runs like a deer. Give them a call today, 317-849-0810. Also, BD Insurance, a company which understands your industry and what's on the line for you. Call Lance at BD Insurance, 812-522-5640. Meyer will start this drive under center. They're at the 30. The pitch to Privet. He's got some room towards his own sideline. Forced out of bounds just shy of the 40, so good pickup on first down for Evan Privet.
Does a great job of hitting the edge and turning upfield there. Looks like it'd be about 12 yards on the gain. We just talked about that on him on his return. It's a leading tackler coming back for these Marauders, but also will do things with return and on the defensive side as well, as we spoke about, and getting a chance to see him here run the ball.
2nd and 2, 2 receivers towards the top for Meyer. A read option up the middle. Privet won't get the 40 quite yet. That's the line to gain. So a third down and very short is upcoming for the Marauder offense. Mount Vernon trying to refill some big shoes. The All-State running back that they had last year, Jaliba Brogan, 13 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards rushing. Privet, he'll be hard to miss with those highlighter green shoes on. Meyer will be under center. Privet real close. They'll try the
tush push.
Philly tush push. That's right. Looks like Meyer did get the 40, may have got the 40 and a half, and that should be enough for a first down.
Just got to ask, what's your take on it? You know, there's so much controversy over last year in the NFL.
Yeah,
with the Eagles.
you know, I'm an offensive-minded guy, so
like whatever we can get it done. Right?
Yeah, exactly. If you can't stop it, well, tough noogies, I guess. But I do get both sides of it, you know, here and there.
We talked about at the outset of the game with the Guardian helmets making it down to the high school level. Now you got the tush push making it down there as well, setting up for their first set of new downs for the game tonight.
The motion man is Ashley. He'll go from left to right. Meyer, another zone read. The defensive front for Noblesville limiting Privet to the 1-yard pickup there. So a little over halfway through this first quarter, and we've seen one pass attempt by Mount Vernon, 2 from Noblesville. No real surprise there. 2 run-heavy teams last year. Starting things off similarly this time. 4 guys are split out as Meyer is now in the shotgun. The motion man, Grady Furness, rolling out. Connecting, that's Hampton. Hampton pulls in the pass from Meyer for a 4-yard pickup. There's another 3rd down and 4. I feel like you can go either way here. This could be 4-down territory too.
Yeah, depending on what they might pick up, depending on how close that they get to this. You know, midfield typically isn't too much of a disadvantage in high school.
Heavy set towards the left, and that's where Meyer will go. They call his number. He gets the edge across midfield, and a first down for the Marauders. That's that dual threat ability that we talked about in the pregame, or you mentioned it, Craig, how Mason Meyer showing signs of that as a sophomore. He scored 9 touchdowns through the air and also 9 on the ground.
Well, great job here of not only the vision, but also with really planting his feet there and getting the defense to bite and hitting the edge on 2 separate occasions. Really patient run there and allowing himself to get to the edge and turn the corner to convert their 2nd first down here of the game.
So at the Noblesville 49, Meyer moves Hampton towards the right. Another rollout. Meyer going deep this time, but overshoots everybody. There is a flag, though, as he was looking for Hampton, and he was double covered. But perhaps maybe the action was as the ball was in flight.
Yeah, it's tough just because that ball wasn't going to be catchable, but at the same time, the contact obviously took place well before the ball arrived to his area and had 2 defenders. And certainly what you're going to get is give them automatic first down and great field position here inside the 35.
Moves the ball from the 49 to the 34. A 15-yard penalty. Two guys split out both sides this time. Meyer looking over to the sideline. Could be an adjustment coming here. They will move Furness from right to left. Coach Leidy instead wants to talk things over. He'll take a timeout. We'll take one with him. A new set of downs for Mount Vernon when we come back, trying to tie this thing up.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Your business depends on quality, efficiency, and reliability. At Reynolds Farm Equipment, we help you stay ahead with John Deere commercial mowers built for performance. Whether you're maintaining parks, businesses, or neighborhood lawns, you need equipment that works as hard as you do. With expert service, flexible financing, and the best lineup of mowers in the industry, Reynolds keeps your operation running strong. Reynolds Farm Equipment, your local John Deere dealer since 1955.
Out of the timeout, Mount Vernon ready to go on offense. They have a 1st and 10. Meyer, 3-step drop. Had the initial read and now will tuck it and run. Working towards the middle. Bounces things to the outside. Another great pickup by the quarterback, Meyer.
Yeah, you see his ability as he dropped back to pass. That's the great thing about having a dual threat quarterback, where he can obviously drop the ball, tuck it, and run. Great vision as he's showing this, but really has great footwork and it's a little slippery at that with his running. So really great job there by Mason. Picking up 8, give him on the play. Looks like 2nd and 2, but really good drive that they got going here.
Meyer will have 3 receivers to his right this time, giving some direction to Privet. A blitz from the left, and that's where Meyer is going to it. He read it perfectly. Privet out of the backfield, inside the 10. 1st and goal upcoming for Mount Vernon. He got it to the 9.
Yeah, and give credit again to Mason Myers. I mean, obviously picked up that blitz as we see it here and did a great job and quick decision of getting rid of the ball to beat that blitz.
Yeah, 2 defenders coming towards his left, and if you can read something like that as it's developing, even pre-snap, you know where to go with the football already. And Privet turns his head at the right time. 1st and goal at the 9. Pickup of 17 on that play. Design run for Meyer. He'll pick up just 1. Hit hard by the Noblesville linebacker, Alex Ham. He's a senior. This will be the 10th play of the drive upcoming for MV. Meyer will go under center. Heavy set towards the left, and I think a false start.
Jump.
First false start committed by the Marauders. But it puts you in a worse situation. 2nd and goal from the 13.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to have these types of things, whether it's game 1 or game 10, you're going to have them. But when you have those types of situations, certainly in your red zone or inside the 10, certainly are things offensively. You got to cut down on those mental mistakes because it does, Jared. It puts you in much different sets and really changes the play call at that as well.
It sure does. Now Myers in the shotgun, standing at the 19. Moving towards his right. Throw towards the end zone and over the outstretched arm of Crew Hampton.
Had a really good route there. Had him on that side. You want to hit the outside shoulder, but sometimes it can be a little tough making that throw, not having the ability to plant and step into it. But certainly one that only Mason can make, but you expect certainly your high school quarterbacks to be able to hit those short dimes to be able to get. But certainly here, 3rd down, and get something here, or if the Miller defense gets a stand to potentially force a field goal.
Hampton will be in the slot this time at the top of the screen. The snap back to Meyer, looking for someplace to go. Keeping his eyes downfield, will just flip it forward to Furness, and Furness got to the pylon.
That's inside the 1, I believe.
But forced out of bounds right at the 1. So nice little heads-up play by Meyer, keeping his eyes downfield.
That'll be the first decision piece for Coach Leidy here. And it looks like his offense is staying on the field here and not lining up for it. But, it's early in the season, early in the game. So why not, Coach? I think Mason Myers was playing assistant coach there and already pointing. So here we go.
You've made it this far. You started at your own 30. You're at the 1, a chance to tie things up. Meyer, he'll take the snap. It's high. He's got defenders coming from behind, and he won't get there. He'll actually go backwards. The Noblesville defense, it was the bad snap that made things go haywire at first. And tracking him down, taking him down, Cal Metzler, the junior D lineman.
Yeah, it just wasn't, everything's just kind of broken play. Kills the timing on any play like that. But certainly tough, didn't get really an honest look at it, but certainly helps the Millers out. And sometimes, those things early on, even though Mount Vernon kind of did that to themselves more than it's something that Noblesville created. But at the end of the day, they made the play to take over here at their own 7-8 yard line.
First play on this drive for Noblesville, not much for their new running back, Luke Heil. Schinkel will take a break as Heil gains, looks like 2. We'll call it 3, 2nd and 7. End around play. Given to Cody Prater. Prater not much that time. Gain of another 3. So 3rd down and manageable for Noblesville. Mount Vernon, the defense, would love to get a stop, get the ball back to the offense, but they're going to give them 5 free yards and a new set of downs upcoming for Noblesville.
Yeah, as much as we just talked about, those are tough things with the botched snap that took off the timing for Noblesville at the 1 yard line. You get the same thing here where you get a stop and you're going to have great field position. I mean, they're kicking the ball inside the 5 yard line, but instead looks like this will go against them and give them a new set. So, again, you expect some of these things to happen, but it's just in these type of moments and the timing of it certainly is just tough.
1st and 10 at the 20. Heil still out there. Directly behind Hutchins, who will bring a man in motion. They'll fake it to him and also fake it to Heil. Hutchins towards his left, has a man. Calvin Moody in the flat, picks up the 1st down. 12-yard gain for Moody. Just the 3rd pass attempt, 2nd completion for Hutchins.
And talking to Coach Herbert as well, taking over a new program, I asked him, what's kind of been the biggest challenge? You not only got, coaches, you got new personnel, new community, things like that. I mean, their motto has been, it's brick by brick. Let's layer this thing, and they've talked a lot about that over the summer, and we'll continue on that a bit more after the play.
Final 90 seconds of our opening quarter. Heil got rid of the first guy, but lost the football. It's on the turf, and Mount Vernon says they have it, but what's he down?
I'm pretty sure. They never signaled, so I think this is certainly going to be Mount Vernon's ball. But, no signal yet. I guess they're going to retain here with Noblesville. But going back to Herbert, he was talking about the brick by brick as we get another replay of it. Good strong run, yards after the contact, but then came down without the ball. But no, he talked about the importance of just getting community. He says that through the summer, it was a lot about his players, but the other thing that it was about is about meeting with community members, learning more about him being in a new community as we got a run here coming for Noblesville to gain a few, which may get one more play before the end of the quarter. But the importance of bringing the community together. They also had a scrimmage the other night with the 5th and 6th grade that played under the lights at Beaver Stadium, and that's what it takes to build championship culture from the ground up.
We'll see if Noblesville opts to run a play. They won't.
Might not have to.
They won't have to.
Move the chains again.
Another offsides penalty. They got him on the hard count. That's twice this drive. Those are the kind of mental mistakes that you see a lot of in week one. We've seen a couple of those early on committed by the Marauder defense. So a new set of downs for Noblesville at the 44.
I anticipate that this will be the last play of the quarter. But yeah, and a lot of those things will get cleaned up, whether it's tonight or certainly as the season goes.
Hutchins, another give to another new back. That's Ethan Clark. He had the last run that went for 7. This time he goes nowhere.
Yeah, great job by Spalding, really on the edge. Kind of read that play well. Obviously went unblocked, but great pursuit of the ball as that brings us to the close of the first quarter.
12 minutes past. Noblesville had the fumble forced on the second play, the first offensive play of Mount Vernon. And they turned it into a quick 6. They lead things 7-0 as we head to quarter number 2. Noblesville, Mount Vernon, doing battle in week 1 on IndianaSRN.
IndianaSRN wants to put more kids on TV. And honestly, that's exactly what these kids deserve. They stream more than 350 high school and college games every year, giving Indiana athletes the spotlight they've earned. All games are free to watch with On Demand on their YouTube channel. The cost is amazingly affordable, which means more kids get their moment to shine. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Starting the second quarter with Noblesville still on offense. We'll flip sides of the field. Hutchins will swing it out to the motion man and read it well. Grady Furness, who nearly scored on that previous offensive drive for Mount Vernon, gets a big stop here. Got away from the guy trying to get out there and keep that edge for Noblesville, but unable to do so. Big loss.
Great job by Grady there, staying engaged with this guy until he was actually reading the play and then shed his guy and made the great open field tackle. Great pursuit, had on the ball, and really doing a great job there on the edge and not letting him get to the outside.
3rd down and 15.
Yeah, I see it. I don't know what happened. Let me show you if I figure it out.
Get a whistle and false start called on Noblesville, so this will push them back even further on this 3rd down. 3rd down and 20 upcoming.
Certainly, if you're Mount Vernon, this is one that you've got to keep everything underneath you, being in a position where you allow that play to develop 5 to 7 yards and just not having them get anywhere close or beyond the 40. That makes it a little bit more enticing to go for it.
See how much Hutchins and the offense can pick up, although he won't gain anything. Sacked for a loss. Alex Robbins, the senior, got to him. Hutchins had no chance.
Really great stand here by Mount Vernon. Great pursuit of the ball, and just doing a really good job of holding their assignments and forcing the Millers into a punting situation.
For the second time, it'll be Lytle punting it away, puts his right foot into it. A shorter, higher punt that drops dead at the 41. So good defensive stand by Mount Vernon, pushed them back, and they'll have decent field position to start this next drive. This second quarter of play brought to you by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper Logistics have been trusted partners for inventory management, warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation. Ride with us. Call them today at 317-396-1023. And by Risk Work, we make people feel safe. We protect your business. You live safe, we've got you covered. Call Risk Work today at 317-379-6755. Meyer trots out there. The best field position they've had tonight so far. Takes the shotgun snap, a fake to Privet, and immediately feels the heat. 3 Millers got to him almost at the jump, and the incomplete pass heads out of bounds. Other games on the network tonight. IndianaSRN has Park Tudor versus Covenant Christian. That game also in the first quarter. And a big one between Bishop Chittard, who's number 1 in our IndianaSRN 4A poll. They take on Lafayette Jeff. Second down play, the give to Privet, maybe a yard. So a third down and long situation upcoming for MV.
It's certainly one that both of your D fronts on both sides of these teams have done a great job of really stopping the run up the A gaps at this point. It's been a little bit more of the edge of success, primarily from what you have seen with Myers on Mount Vernon's side. Noblesville hasn't quite seemed to get as much being done on the ground as much as they've had a little bit more success through the air to this point.
3 receivers to the left. That's where Meyer will roll out. Now he comes back towards the middle of the field, extending the play. Lofts a pass to the open receiver. That's Anderson. All the way down to, looks like the 23-yard line is where they'll mark him out. Huge pickup. There's Meyer extending the play again.
No, great job. Great patience. Great vision as we see here. Rolling out. Didn't like what I love about this is that he didn't try to force it. Trying to make some things happen with his feet, see something down the field, and off the run, what great touch that he actually puts on this to be in a place where he gets about a 30-yard gain to his receiver. So really good job there by Mason with patience and great touch to Mason Anderson.
Looks like a pickup of 34, Mason to Mason connection. Yeah, Mount Vernon doesn't look like they were ready to get the next play going. So they'll call another timeout. That's their second. We will step aside as well. The Marauders threatening again, another chance to tie things up against the Noblesville Millers.
Did you know, according to the National Federation of High Schools, 80% of new officials quit the game after just 2 seasons because of abusive behavior from the stands and sidelines?
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Vertner Electric Incorporated provides professional commercial electrical contractor services to Indianapolis and surrounding communities. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years, our knowledge and experience make us the perfect choice for all your commercial electrical contractor needs. Contact us today.
The Marauders have it 1st and 10 at the Noblesville 23. Let's see what they draw up out of the timeout. Meyer, 3-step drop, immediately has to get out of the pocket and looking to extend the play again. This time he'll use his legs, gets inside the 20. Well, he's a tough guy to contain.
Yeah, it's real slippery. I mean, like we talked about that earlier, does a great job of really planting his foot in the ground, getting some really nice cuts, making the defense bite. And it's those little things, the intangibles, that get you the extra yard, the extra 3. Those add up and put you in different situational moments that can really impact how the plays are called. In terms of what you're running. This is obviously the effect of that, though. You kind of get your guy a little gassed.
Yeah, you see just how much conditioning, just how ready are these guys going to be. It is early, that is true, and it's going to be one of the hotter weeks of games that you will see this season, of course, being week 1. The give to Privet. No gain that time. But Mount Vernon, they do, just like Noblesville, take their time with their play calls, using up all that play clock, getting their guys ready for the next play. 3rd down and 4.
If you're Mount Vernon, this is obviously a big key play to try to get you some new downs. Certainly love the score, but you want a new set of downs here, so a really critical point here.
Meyer will keep it. Taking tacklers with them. Appears to be enough for the 1st down. It is. Down to the 11-yard line. A nice 6-yard pickup for the quarterback, Mason Meyer.
Oh, it does a really good job of hitting the seams and the creases, if you will. But again, we talked about that earlier in the last drive in terms of just his vision. And that not only comes into play with reading the field, but also at parts when he's actually running as well.
Meyer this time will go under center. 1st and 10 from the 11. Can still pick up a 1st down without scoring. It'll be tight, and Privet gets a big knock.
It's Ty Holmes there.
From the secondary, Holmes came down and kind of wrecked Privet's world. He's shaken up, standing up.
Well, I think Coach is here was asking about more of the helmet-to-helmet contact, which I don't think there was any malicious intent, but it almost looked like that the helmet was from Holmes was the first thing that made contact with Privet there. Certainly can leave its mark, if you will. No pun intended, but I mean it's certainly in a position where it had questions from one of the assistant coaches there.
Privet will check out, and coming out to replace him, Dean Clarkson is in the backfield. Max Davis was out there for the moment, but he checks out. Jet sweep to Hampton. Hampton cannot find the edge, and he may have only gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Great, not only pursuit there, but by Aiden Kincaid, but really closed well and got him for a loss.
So a 3rd down and 12 for Mount Vernon. We've seen them let Meyer kind of use his feet, roll out, find some space. He'll likely could move towards his right. He has Hampton over there split out wide along with Caleb Ashley. And a bad snap over the head of Meyer. He should have fell on it. He doesn't, and it's picked up by the Millers. Picked up by Noblesville's number 9, Anthony Gomez-Sanchez.
I think Myers, as we see the replay here, I really thought that he felt like he had a little bit more space. I don't think he saw the weak side there, and Evan Nichols coming from the weak side. But, certainly costly mistake as well. You were down at the 11-yard line, had back-to-back plays to where you moved back 2 yards, 1 yard was back at the 14 and get a high snap. Second one of the game that this one worse than the first, and not only drove them back but gives Noblesville the ball with a much more advantage to the field position as well.
Had an opportunity for points again. That's the second time Mount Vernon has had it inside the red zone, and they failed to score. Second turnover of the game, too. The Millers immediately feeling the heat. Hutchins, he's sacked again. This time brought down by Braden Robinson. Second sack by the Mount Vernon defense.
Well, Coach Leidy talked about, again, we're undersized. A big strength of ours is quickness, and you're seeing that here with the very undersized defensive front that you see compared to what you have in Noblesville's line. But they're certainly exposing them a bit with some of that speed, getting off the ball and getting in some of these gaps.
Loss of 6. Hutchins will give it to Schinkel. He's back out there. But another good defensive play. Playing both sides of the football, Caleb Ashley makes the tackle.
Well, and the other thing, Jared, is I've seen so far in the little bit of the game is, how well Mount Vernon has done with their open field tackles. That's got to be about the 5th, if not 6th, open field tackle. A lot of times you'll see those guys in those moments, and the offensive guy wins a lot of those moments. But they've done a great job of just technique and wrapping their guy up. Sometimes you'll see guys just really trying to deliver a blow and not getting the wrap up. So good job there by the defender.
They've certainly gotten better in that category because Schinkel's first 3 runs were 10, 5, and 9. Since then, he's had no gain or negative yardage. Hutchins throws it as he is taken down, and luckily it wasn't picked off. But the Mount Vernon front line getting to the backfield, and they will be forced to punt from their own 28.
Well, a nice thing there that they had, different than the first turnover they had, was Noblesville was able to take advantage of the score, even though they started at the 11-yard line. But after this turnover, got a good defensive stand to get this ball back and see if they can do something with it before the close of the first half. Nice, good punt again here. This one be fielded.
Privet caught it, but lost it. A fight for it underneath. Who will come out away with it?
It's a wrestling match now.
It'll stay with the Marauders. They got lucky that time. Could have been their 3rd fumble. Let's take another look at it. A high punt. Good one. That Lytle got away, and Privet didn't see it all the way through. So here come the Marauders again. What can they do with 4:22? That's plenty of time to get back down there, but just like we said, it's been 2 red zone trips of late. Nothing to show for it. Hopefully 3rd time's the charm. You'd like to tie this puppy up before you head to the locker room.
Well, in this short game so far, I mean, they've shown Mount Vernon has so much more success when they've gotten Myers outside of the pocket. Whenever he has been in the pocket, there's not only been great pursuit by the Millers, but you got to give this young man room to operate. He's got great feet and vision.
Snap to Meyer, read option. He'll keep it. Trying to get the edge, and lucky just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, good job there. It's just why, avoiding the hit. Why take a hit when there's not much there? You got 3 guys pursuing you, and then you got the Noblesville teammate there in the sideline. So he did a good job of doing what you said, Jared, is let me just get to the place back where I'm not having negative yards and get back to the line of scrimmage and move on to the next play.
And you can see Meyer is taking up as much of the play clock as he can. He is gassed with a 2nd down and 10 upcoming. A quick catch and release, but a low pass heading towards Ashley.
There's certainly a situation there where you can see the quarterback and the receiver just weren't on the same page, kind of ran more of a hitch. And I think the quarterback was thinking he was running a little bit more of an out. It was thrown to the outside, and the receiver's cutting to the end. But nonetheless, it's early. Players are going to be a little rusty. We talked about at the beginning, I mean, how these guys have been lined up against each other now for a good 6-8 weeks, and it's just a matter of having somebody else being in game moments like this. You'll get some of that.
So a 3rd down and 10. Rolling to his left again. Meyer, plenty of time, loads up, fires down the middle of the field, and it's dropped by Ashley. There is a flag on the play, too.
Well thrown ball, opposite side of the field as well. Certainly one that you think should have been caught. We'll see what this flag's like.
There's 2 flags.
Would have been negated anyways, or more than likely, but we'll see what it is.
It is on the offense, as Coach Herbert is indicating they will decline it and make it 4th and 10.
Ineligible downfield. You know, and a lot of times that may happen when your quarterback is scrambling a little bit longer. Sometimes some of your ineligible receivers will tend to drift a little bit beyond the field, and that's exactly what happened there. And sets up another 4th down and kind of gave it back a lot quicker than I'm sure Coach Leidy would ever want it. But Herbert and the offense of the Millers are certainly liking it with another opportunity with 4 minutes to go.
The second punt for John Duncan. A low punt that trickles around the 30. Takes a little Mount Vernon roll down to the 26-yard line. So now Noblesville, they have plenty of time. As there was a quick 3 and out for Mount Vernon, the Millers can look to tack on more points here. Labor's International Union of North America, or the Build America Union, 500,000 strong, fighting for better wages and benefits, safer job sites, and greater opportunities. This broadcast also brought to you by Boilermaker Local 374. They represent highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication across Indiana. Whether it's a new build, upgrade, or facility maintenance, you can count on Local 374 to get the job done right the first time. At the 26, a low snap. Hutchins, he gave it to the first guy. Mount Vernon, they were ready for either guy. Clark was just the one to get wrapped up and pushed back for a little bit of a loss.
A great pursuit again by those front 4. Doing a great job of just finding their way around this Miller O-line right now, winning the battle in the trenches.
Loss of 2. Hutchins immediately sees the pressure and brought down again. Another sack for the Marauders. Fired up, Jack Van Vickel. One of the seniors on this Mount Vernon defense makes it, well, it's still 3rd down and 12, but Van Vickel will still get credited with the sack.
Well, as much as we talked about, Mount Vernon having an opportunity to maybe do something, gave it back real quick, and now Mount Vernon's defense has put Noblesville in the same situation where they may give it back to Mount Vernon for another crack at it before the half as well.
That's what the Marauders are hoping for. Hutchins with a change at the line of scrimmage. How many will Mount Vernon bring? It'll be 5. A clear rush off the edge. They set up the screen into the hands of Heil, and he has a first down.
Yeah, great design play by the offensive staff at Noblesville. They were really drawing. They sent the blitz, had quite a few rushing him, and pulled a few linemen there, but great design play to get them 13.
The perfect time to bring out the screen. Heil picks up 13. He needed 12. It's 1st and 10 from the 38. And before the Millers can get off a snap, it's The third and final timeout called by Coach Leidy. .222 left in this first half. Coach Leidy not happy with that last defensive play, so they'll talk things over. This timeout brought to you by Dynamark Graphics Group. Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for print signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services, serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark builds strong relationships through exceptional service. Call them today at 317-328-2555. A great turnout on the side of Noblesville. We can see their fans. They travel well. It's not too far of a drive over to Fortville. As we said, last year, Noblesville 2-8. They started the season 2-0 with a win over Mount Vernon, a series that they have so far had the advantage in. Winners of 4 of their only 5 meetings all time. Hutchins, again, giving directions before the first down play. Stands in the pocket, looking around towards the sideline, and he'll hook up with Cody Prater. Looks to be enough for, yeah, we'll call it 5. Stops the clock, too, at 2:16. Hutchins forced to roll out to his left. Will throw it, and he overshoots Clark. Ethan Clark. Heil and Clark close in number, not too close in size. As you can see the difference. Heil will be in the backfield on this 3rd down and 5. Haven't seen much of Hutchins rolling out. It's been a lot of Meyer extending the play, getting outside the pocket. Could see that again here with Hutchins. We'll find out. 3rd and 5. 5 men come in. They don't see the runner. It's Heil straight up the middle. But there is a flag down. The chain gain already took off before they saw the flag, but it was definitely enough for a first down on the run for Heil.
They're walking back. Must be offensive call. So I'm marking off here, and here comes the call.
Illegal formation.
Certainly tough. Biggest run of the game from either team to this point, and right up the A gap. And that's kind of been the standard, at least for what Noblesville football has been like in recent years. But, you know, I'm talking again, Coach Herbert, there's going to be things that he said the run game will still be a good portion of what they do, but it's certainly going to be multi-schematic, a different look, if you will, than people have seen in previous years.
So the illegal formation just puts it back 5 yards, a 3rd down and 10. But first a timeout called.
Another timeout
by Noblesville. We'll step aside this time. 2:04 left to go. Noblesville will come up with a 3rd down play, and we'll watch it unfold when we return on IndianaSRN.
At Risk Work, we're Team Indiana through and through. From coaching youth basketball to protecting critical infrastructure. Like our partners at IndianaSRN, we invest in people first. That same grit and leadership on the court drives our work in cybersecurity. We help businesses stay secure, resilient, and ready with no guesswork. If you can trust us to protect the grid, you can surely trust us to protect your Indiana business.
It's game day, a time to focus on the excitement and not to worry about your insurance coverage. With Indiana Farmers Insurance by your side, you can step onto the field or into the bleachers with true peace of mind, knowing your coverage is handled by local agents who care about your business, your auto, your home, and your farm as much as you do. Local insurance, local agents, here for you. Now that's what we call teamwork.
So here's the third down play for Noblesville. Hutchins will take the snap. It's just a stretch play to Heil out of the backfield, who gets it to the 45. It'll be short of a first down. But could this be 4-down territory? 4th down and 3. And nope, it'll be the punting team coming out.
Yeah, I think you certainly got to play field position here. Noblesville's had some good success with keeping them from converting, as well as Mount Vernon hurting themselves as well with a few botched snaps. But they're in a position where they don't have any timeouts, but you got to play field position.
Yep, can't stop the clock. So Lytle will let this run all the way down as far as he can, and will
go timeout.
Before punts it. Yep, it'll be another Noblesville timeout. Now Vernon will have, depending on where this punt ends up, there's been 4 pretty decent punts by Lytle already. That's all the offense we've seen from Noblesville ever since they, of course, forced the fumble in the first offensive play of the game. Got it in good field position in 2 plays. They scored with Noah Schinkel from 5 yards out. But ever since then, it's been 4 Caden Lytle punts. The 5th one upcoming. Hopefully he can pin this one deep and force Mount Vernon to go the length of the field. Another whistle before the snap.
This is going to give them a first down. Did they jump?
There might be 12 men on the field. That's the indication from Noblesville.
This is even bigger than the first one penalty that they have, just converting the first down. This not only gives them that, but the opportunity to be inside their own territory. Looks like they're going to mark it right at midfield, but certainly still got a timeout to work with over a minute to go. So it's been a lot of the mental mistakes, and some of those you would expect, but you know, they just had 3 of them now to give them first downs, and then the 2 fumbles that they've had, and then the 1 botch snap, which really perhaps could have costed them a touchdown in answering Noblesville's first as well. So really tough pieces that they'll have to talk through to overcome for the second half.
Pressure off the get-go. Another design screen and room to run. Down the sideline, 1 man to beat goes Schinkel, and the quarterback Meyer takes him out of bounds. Noblesville in 1 play goes from the 50 down inside the 10. We'll see where they mark it, but there are flags down. Flags back around the 40-yard line. This one might be coming back.
Yeah, that's tough too. That's 45-yard gain, but yes, they are coming back. Biggest play of the game so far gets negated by yet another flag.
We'll see if this is of the holding variety, possibly a block in the back. Kind of saw for a brief moment there in the replay the lineman who got downfield and set up the blocks for Schinkel. It is a hold. 5th penalty committed by Noblesville. Well, Vernon has 6.
You lose 45 on the play, but you gain 1 in net.
That's high school football.
Yeah, it started at the 50. Now they're 49, but I'm sure that Coach Herbert would definitely like the 45-yarder and being at the Marauder 5.
Noblesville still has 1 timeout to use. And the clock at 1:08. It'll start at the snap. Hutchins moves towards his right, but immediately is met by a defender.
A flag here, possibly.
Got the ball out.
I don't know if he was out of the box for one.
The referee may have marked Hutchins down before he released it. That is the indication. They're marking him down at the 40. So an 11-yard loss. A few seconds tick off, and now the clock will start running. 2nd and 21. But the referees are having a discussion as the clock is still running.
They heard you, Jarrett. I stopped. Yeah, it's been kind of the story. I think early on, as we talk about, as much as Mount Vernon has really hurt themselves with some of the mental penalties and a few of the botched snaps. But the flip side of that and the positive side is their pursuit and their ability that they've been able to get and handle or win the trenches and get to the quarterbacks that they've had quite a few for tackles for losses.
Hutchins going deep, and he's picked off by Meyer. The quarterback, Meyer, playing defense, and now gets into the face.
There.
A little pushing and shoving between him.
Knew that was coming.
Someone on Noblesville checked that was Prater, actually. Cody Prater, the receiver. Those two immediately got into each other's face as the Mount Vernon front line got into the face of Hutchins, affecting that throw. Meyer. There you see Meyer and Prater going right at each other.
It looked like Prater came into him first. Sometimes it's a little tough, but you don't know what was being said. But as far as the contact, Prater stepped to him with his helmet. So it'll be interesting to see how the Stripes see this and what might be called. This could be the big difference, though. If it's that could give them a great, they're giving it on both. Yeah,
yep.
Offset, which is probably the right call to offset them. Both were involved. Kind of maybe a little hard to see who really instigated. Appeared from the replay that it was Prater, but Meyer, I think, had a few things to say, too.
He immediately got up and went to Prater. So, yeah, probably something said as the play was developed, maybe a previous play. Well, Meyer will have to stay out there and lead this offense with about 30 seconds, 28.2 exact. Well, Vernon's at the 35. The Marauders are missing a guy.
Yeah, we don't have a shot of the play clock, but it's got to be running down. They have no timeouts. And all they can do is take a delay a game.
Looked like they were missing a lineman. You saw coming on late was Corbin Wilson. And he will trot back out there. So now it's 1st and 15 from the 30. A lot of mental mistakes by Mount Vernon. 8 first-half penalties. And they're just going to take a knee and wind out this clock. Not going to take any chances and head to the locker room. A lot to discuss in this locker room, I'm sure, for Coach Leidy. We mentioned the 8 penalties, a few red zone trips, and nothing to show for it. It'll be a lead for Noblesville, 7-0. Not the typical halftime score we've seen from these two teams in recent years. More of an offensive struggle this time around, but the Millers, they score on their opening drive. A lot of punts since then. And the same thing on the side of Mount Vernon. We'll give you some scores from across the state. Greg's looking at some of those too. We'll also check what our other IndianaSRN games are shaping up to be through the first half of play of Week 1. Some quick first half numbers too. First for Mount Vernon, Mason Meyer having to do a lot offensively, most of their offense, and a couple of runs extending the play. Right now he is 5 of 8 for 77 yards through the air. And a couple of big passes connecting with Grady Furness and Mason Anderson, some of those guys. And then on the other side for Noblesville, Windsor Hutchins. He also has 8 attempts, 5 of 8 for 52 yards. Noah Schinkel had a good start to the game, running the football, but ever since then, the Mount Vernon defense has kept him in check. So it's a 7-0 score at the half for Noblesville. And some quick scores on IndianaSRN. Chittard and Lafayette Jeff are tied at 14 apiece. They got about 10 minutes left to play in the first half. And Park Tudor leads Covenant Christian 23-13. Both of those games available to watch on the network tonight.
Just to bring you up to date on some of the other scores outside the SRN games that we have for you tonight. Guerin Catholic over McCutcheon, 10-0. North Central beating Burbuff right now, 7-0. No score reported yet in the Lawrence North LC game. Little crosstown rivals. Decatur Central, big storyline there. Obviously 2 years ago, runner-up in the state. Then last year, winning the state, had to move up. Definitely one of the smaller classes in 6A now, but really out the gate well against Avon. They're up 16-7 right now. Carmel over Fishers, 28-17. We have no scores yet updated, and probably the biggest game, opening game of the season around the state is Ben Davis Cathedral, but no score there. And Westfield Homestead, nothing reported yet. Covenant is down right now to Park Tudor, 23-13. Chittard is up 14-7, one of our games. Jarrett was just talking about it, 14-7. Center Grove over Warren, 3-0. And then Heritage Christian up on Speedway right now, 14-3.
Yeah, some of those schools we'll see as the season goes on here on IndianaSRN. Our game tonight, Noblesville leads Mount Vernon 7-0 at the half. We'll step aside and be back after a couple of minutes and then bring you the second half right here on IndianaSRN.
This is LifeWise Academy. It's a program that teaches Bible-based character education to public school students during school hours. Not before school and not after, but during school hours.
So here's how this works. The students will leave this school building, hop on this bus, take a short ride across the street to the church. I can see the steeple from here, have Bible class, hop back on the bus, head back to school. It's that simple.
Go to lifewise.org to find your school.
During Army basic training, I found out I had 7 herniated discs. Prescription pain medication led me to a heroin addiction. I entered Wheeler's program and learned life on God's terms.
After meeting Greg, I was so impressed, I hired him. When you change that one life, it makes it all worthwhile.
Now, I have a family, house, and a job that I love. At Wheeler, you can have something everlasting.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Countdown 3, 2, 1.
A great lawn starts with the right equipment. At Reynolds Farm Equipment, we're here to help you make mowing easier and more enjoyable. From zero turns to lawn tractors, John Deere mowers give you the power, precision, and comfort to get the job done right. Plus, with expert service and support from Reynolds, you can spend less time worrying about your mower and more time enjoying the results. Reynolds Farm Equipment, your local John Deere dealer since 1955.
Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service.
Poached egg on avocado toast.
Ew. Your flash-fried porgy over chips.
Ew.
Your fresh Maine lobster with microgreens.
When the only thing your 8-year-old will eat is waffles.
She's fine. She's fine.
Your waffles, milady.
It matters where you stay.
Yum.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry-out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Welcome back to Mount Vernon High School in Fortville, Indiana. Jarrett Lewis along with Craig Cox. It's halftime, 7-0, the lead for the road team. That would be the Noblesville Millers, and they did it after just, 40 seconds of gameplay. At the 11:20 mark, they found the end zone with Noah Schinkel. First two plays, a 10-yard run, then a 5-yard run, hit pay dirt. And that was off the fumble on the very first offensive play that Mount Vernon had. And that's kind of been the theme so far through one half. A lot of mistakes, a lot of guys not in formation, a lot of penalties. You're going to get that in a week one game, but neither Coach Herbert of Noblesville or Coach Laddie of Mount Vernon can be pleased with what they saw, I think, in that first half.
Yeah, I think some of it's to be executed. You know, you'd like your team to come out and be a little sharper. I think some of it's anticipated to kind of knock some of the rust off, so to speak. But I don't think either one of these coaches and the programs that, they play into that standard would ever thought that it would have been quite the way that it was there. I know you mentioned something earlier in the second quarter as well that we're kind of accustomed to. This is an annual matchup with these two schools, and it's usually certainly a much higher point output and more productivity. But, as much as things have been a little stale, if you will, offensively for both these teams, certainly give it to both sides of both schools, I should say, on the defensive side, that they've done well with kind of just holding suit with what they've had on the defensive front to kind of keep this to where it's at now at a 7-0 ball game.
We mentioned the numbers right before the break with Windsor Hutchins, the junior quarterback who is stepping in his first year starting at Noblesville. 5 of 8, 52 yards. Did have that interception to end the half, picked off by the quarterback on the other side of the field, that being Mason Meyer, and his numbers also 5 of 8. 77 yards, but the offense for Mount Vernon stifling when they get into the red zone. They've had 2 trips where they've gone 50, 60-plus yard drives. They get it to the red zone, but then they have those mental mistakes again. A couple of false starts, delay the games, also ineligible men downfield, 12 men on the field. You name it, just about every penalty so far they have checked the box off tonight, and that has hurt their offense. As we've seen so far, they still have the goose egg up on the scoreboard. but a lot of also relying on Mason Meyer. He's having to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and we're seeing that kind of play into, I think, how the next play ends up being, because, if you end up kind of, getting tired or you feel like you're having to do a lot of the work, that ends up kind of affecting the next play, it seems like.
Well, it is. I mean, the adrenaline's high, anxiousness, if you will. It's first game. There's a lot of these on both sides, probably a little bit more for Mount Vernon than Noblesville, but Noblesville has their share of it as well, to where there's a lot of these guys in these skilled positions that this is kind of their first experience with Friday Night Lights, and sometimes that adds enough in itself, along with the adrenaline, the first game, the nerves kind of thing. That certainly can play in. That's something that these teams they'll settle down with and kind of get, that's another thing we talked with Coach Herbert, not making it more than what it is. The moment right in front of you is all that you got to be concerned with. Your assignments on that play, for the duration of it, and then it's over. And then you got to be in a position where you're thinking about the next one. I think the other thing is that just being in a position where you kind of got the first half, out of the way, you got this break, this moment, kind of redirect, kind of refocus, but you have some things now to stand on as far as what the game has shown you, what you've played to and through. You make your adjustments and come out, so it'll be interesting. These two guys that are leading both these programs are great, solid, cultured guys, strong disciplinarians, all about focus, and they'll get this thing right.
Yeah, Coach Leidy in his fifth year, 31-16 overall record with the school. He said he has an experienced group of seniors. Now, not a lot of them have much experience playing. They graduate a lot, as most programs will. So having to fill some shoes of guys that had a major impact on this program last year. You lose your top 7 tacklers, but you have some upperclassmen on the defensive line, and that showed later on in that second quarter. Getting to Hutchins, applying some pressure, and trying to set up your offense in good field position, trying to do what Noblesville did to you on that opening minute of play. So I think one bright spot for Mount Vernon, at least, was the way they were able to get to Hutchins, because he doesn't seem to be as good as getting outside of the pocket as Myers is. So I think that's one positive takeaway you can have if you're Mount Vernon.
No, I think it's a great point, Jared. I think I mentioned that in the second quarter. I mean, I'm not going to say it's as much as a surprise, but certainly pleasing to see, at least if you're a Marauder fan, is their ability to win it up front in the trenches and using that speed we talked about and getting pressure, trying to make that quarterback make a decision before he's prepared to do so. And so done a really good job there. And then the last thing would be is their job in the open field with Mount Vernon, making some key tackles when they're man-on-man.
A lot of guys having to step into roles on offense for Noblesville, too. Last year, they had 5 guys with 60 carries or more in the season. And another running back by committee type of approach in this game so far in week 1. If you're the coaching staff, you're trying to figure out what works. You're trying to see who is ready to play what position. Noah Schinkel seems to be the lead back for Noblesville, but they've had 5 different guys carry the football here so far tonight. The final minutes of halftime, teams starting to make their way back out onto the field. We'll step aside one more time and come back for the start of the second half from Fortville, Indiana. Noblesville leads it 7-0 over Mount Vernon.
Brian Chrisman joins me today. And Brian, talk a little bit about the winter and Wheeler Mission and how important it is for people to help Wheeler Mission, because winter means homeless and homeless means people in the cold. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we really serve a lot of people year-round, no matter what the weather is, right? And so we serve anywhere from 700 to 900 people who are experiencing homelessness every single night. But when winter hits, that can become life or death. So if you're stuck out in the cold, happens every year, IMPD will find people out in the cold and encourage them to come in. But if they don't catch them in time, I mean, again, life and death. And so it's vital that our doors are open. And so we do that. Our staff shows up every day to make sure our doors are open. We serve 1,000 meals a day plus every single day. That's a nice, warm, nutritious meal. Donors provide that. Donors provide our food, coffee, something hot to drink. Donors provide that. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved at Wheeler to make sure we can get through winter, or to work at Wheeler. We need staff, and so we're always looking for staff to get us through the winter time. We spread ourselves thin during winter, making sure that anybody can find space, and so we have bed capacities. For sure, but we go beyond that every winter to make sure that the city has an option for people who are experiencing homelessness in the dead of winter.
Schools out there that are watching this program with our reach, maybe they want to do a sock drive, or they want to do a sweatshirt drive. They can contact our office at IndianaSRN, or they can contact you. Where's a contact, or who would be a contact that maybe we want to do a sock drive? I think that would be a great idea for SRN to start one of those sock drives. How would that? What does that look like?
Yeah, so if you go to wheelermission.org, we have our needs lists that are right there on our website. Those change sometimes in the winter, but there are some needs that are pretty much continual when it comes to hygiene items, when it comes to warm items to get us through the winter. So when you're talking about coats, especially bigger sizes for people that come through, we want to make sure a lot of people that come to our mission, they come with the clothes on their back, right? And so we need to make sure they have something to wear during their stay with us, and which could be for a few weeks, could be for a couple months. And so go to our website, wheelermission.org. You can donate directly there, whether it's a financial donation or you can look at our needs list. You can even find drop-off locations. You can drop it off at some of the barns that we have around the city, or come right down to Wheeler Mission, drop it off right there. But we need this community's support. So greatest thing about Indianapolis is it is a generous community.
Yes.
It is a community that steps up when there's a need. And there's 1,700 homeless individuals in our community. That number has risen 5% just over the last year. Wheeler Mission is the main place for those individuals to go, has been since 1893, over 130 years. And so support that ministry so that those doors can be open, making sure that every man, woman, and child that needs to come inside can come inside and not only get warm, but get nutritious meals, food, shelter, and care. And so beyond that, we take them through a whole journey of program to make sure that they come out our back door different people. But the first things first, right? Get them fed and get them warm and get them safe.
Since it's basketball season and we cover over 300 games a year on IndianaSRN, we challenge our basketball teams and our basketball programs to get involved. There are meals that need to be served. Tell our teams out there how they can help and serve meals.
Yeah, no better way to really open your eyes to the community's needs than to stand in front of people who are desperately in need and hand them a meal, hand them what they're asking for that day. So great group opportunity is to volunteer at Wheeler Mission. You can go to wheelervolunteer.org. You can sign up a group. It can take an hour and a half to come down and serve a lunch. You can get 12, 15 people involved in that, a dinner, come down either at our men's shelter or our women's shelter. It's a really cool experience for teams, not only to help in a way that you're making a difference, but to see the people that you're helping, right? To hand a meal to someone and smile and say hi to someone literally in their darkest moment, right? So
best assist they can ever make.
Oh yeah,
is to serve a meal.
That's a good point. It's a slam dunk.
It's a slam dunk, exactly. For IndianaSRN, this is Keith Myers.
Back at Mount Vernon High School, and the Marauders will be kicking things off to start this second half. Noblesville leads it 7-0. Craig Cox is here. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Thanks for joining us. One of 3 games we have on the IndianaSRN channel for you this evening. Week 1 of Indiana high school football. We've seen some high scores in other areas across the state. This one, not so much. It started off, we were thinking, Craig, we might be in for some offensive firepower back and forth, but that was not the case after the first 40 seconds. Noblesville scored at the 11:20 mark after a quick turnover, and ever since then has been turnovers, lots of penalties, and a long first half. But we're ready to go for half number 2. Looks like it'll be Charlie Cole kicking things off for Mount Vernon. Deep kick towards the end zone, and it's bobbled, picked up. That's your guy on the return, too. Ty Holmes, we haven't called his name much at all tonight, Craig, but he's there on the return, gets down to the 22.
Yeah, one that we said at opening of our program was that he was their leading rusher last year, but just not being used much this year, according to Coach Herbert, at running back, more receiver, but hadn't had the ball tonight at all in his hands until that return. So we'll see in the second half if he's used any differently to this point, as we have Hutchins getting his team lined up for the first offensive play of the second half.
Hutchins in the pistol. He's been in that familiar spot. Sometimes shotgun. Will start things off with a give up the middle to Schinkel. He goes nowhere. Immediately brought down by Alex Robbins. And Robbins, we've called his name a couple times tonight, and we mentioned it too. That front line of Mount Vernon's defense able to get to Hutchins late in that second quarter, force him to throw off his back foot. A couple of sacks, 3 in total, to their credit after that first half. Second down and 10. Another give to Schinkel, and another immediate tackle. Coming in from behind was Privet, the running back for Mount Vernon. One of a couple of guys, the skill position players, kind of playing both sides of the field, especially for Mount Vernon.
Yeah, no, they have been. And obviously, we saw Myers, who's actually coming in now, where Myers is, and as Myers comes on the field, he's actually cramping. He's grabbing, trying to stretch. But he comes in nickel coverage. And Mason Myers is going to appreciate this as you see him go down there at the 35 to be able to try to stretch his calf. But yeah, you see him come in nickel coverage. He was in a few times there in the first half, and one of those actually was where he got the interception that he had. Been comes up here with a third and a little short here with the encroachment call.
Meanwhile, yep, the third encroachment called on Mount Vernon. So makes it a little more manageable for Noblesville to bring a man in motion. They won't give it to him. Hutchins will keep. Can he get the edge? He will not. A hard tackle by Lucas Quisp, who sends him into the turf. Quispy, actually, I believe is how. We'll have to check that. See how the PA announcer had announced it, because I don't believe it was Quisp, but we will check that as the game goes on. He makes a nice tackle to force another punt. The punt away from Lytle. Hits the 40 and will sit there. Now Vernon's first drive of the second half coming up at the 39-yard line. This second half of play brought to you by Officially Human. Their mission is to restore respect for game officials and recognize them as authorities on the field and courts. Do your part. Practice good sportsmanship. No officials means no game. Pat Cherry is your independent agent, proudly representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Call him today at 317-894-7000 for coverage tomorrow. Family Source Insurance. There's Coach Leidy getting the offense ready to go. 2 fumbles, a turnover on downs also committed by Mount Vernon in that first half, trying to do better in this second half. Meyer will have Privet offset to the right as he goes under center. And in motion, and the direct give to him on the jet is Crew Hampton, but Hampton, I don't think, got a yard.
Just trying to more of a misdirect play, but didn't pull some of the linemen there to have some lead blocking. Led to just getting back to the line of scrimmage and setting up here 2nd and 10.
Meyer in the shotgun this time on 2nd down. A quick catch and throw. They've tried that before with Ashley, but still those two unable to connect.
Oh, great close there that you had by Austin Donahue. Did a great job of retreating, reading the play, and stepping in to get his hand on that ball for us at 3rd and 10. This is one where you kind of look to probably get Mason Myers out of the pocket to be able to put himself in a position where he can make a decision with his feet or with his arm. So see what happens here.
Hampton again in motion. Meyer, a 360. Deep drop, now steps up. Has to run it as the Noblesville defense collapses on him and limits him to maybe half a yard. And Meyer reaching for that leg. Hopefully it's just a cramp.
Well, that's what, when he came on the field, as we talked about last possession defensively, we came in for nickel coverage. He was trying to stretch what appeared to be a calf cramp, but we'll see what you might have. It's, we haven't had the heat, obviously, that we had a few weeks ago, so I don't know that it's as much that. But, Jared, you talked about, too, in the first half, how heavily they relied on him to not only not as much as the passing, even though he's there to do that, but more of how much he was running. And from side to side, sometimes it's not positive yards, but you're running sometimes 30, 45 yards to pick up 4 or 5 as he's scrambling. So a lot of that can take a lot out of you as well. And so you're curious as to that might be a factor here.
Yeah, we saw Meyer hands on hips. A lot of players kind of just gassed after a couple of plays. It is hot out. It is week 1. Trying to work the kinks.
You talked a lot about that, too. There's one thing about having, whether it's 2-a-days or summer practice or your camps or, things like that, but there's always a different element when you talk about being in game shape, right? Things are moving differently. It's just, we talked about halftime, the adrenaline. The things that play into that sometimes can just get you a lot more exhausted than just any practice.
So we'll wait to see if Meyer gets up. They're still working him over on the far end of the field.
Coach Lighty might be praying right now. See him there on the sideline.
Mount Vernon had one of the toughest schedules in all of Class 4A last year. They're going to run it back. They're in the Hoosier Heritage Conference. Teams like New Palestine, as we've already mentioned. They've got Greenfield Central, who had a really good year, one of their better years in quite some time. Last year, they also share a sectional with Greenfield and Pendleton Heights also in there. A couple of programs that are playing pretty good football as of late, the past few seasons. The punt from Duncan. Low line drive. Takes a nice couple of bounces and will fall inside the 15. Referee marks it out at the 14-yard line. This third quarter also brought to you by the IndianaSRN sports page. Wall-to-wall sports coverage every day, whether it's high school, college, or the pros. Check it out at IndianaSRN.org. Click on the sports page tab. Also, Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else if you're looking for fresh, amazing food and servers who truly care about your experience? you've got to try Aspen Creek Grill. We were just at Aspen Creek Grill not too long ago. A few days ago, we had the preseason football preview show. The coach, Keith Myers, there. Also Troy Darengowski, who runs the sports page. Nathaniel Finch in on that, breaking down the polls 1 through 6. These two teams trying to start off the 2025 campaign with a win. The first play of this drive, bouncing it outside. Goes Schenkel, but doesn't get much.
Yeah, marking it at the 20, gave him 6.
Oh, more than I thought. So, yeah, he went from the
I think it was 14, I believe.
14-yard line down to the 20. So, yeah, pickup of 6 for Schenkel.
Looks like you got another player down, and this here happens. Looks like it's Caleb Ashley, the DB senior. Looks like he's
So that's the second player now for Mount Vernon in just a few minutes that we've seen reaching for those legs. Noblesville will have it 2nd and 4, so another break in the action. That gives us time to check out some of the scores from elsewhere on IndianaSRN at the half. Park Tudor leads Covenant Christian 31-13. And tied at half, Bishop Chittard and Lafayette Jeff. That's making to be a pretty good game to open up week 1. 21-21 is the score there. Check a few other scores as well, including some of the big games. Ben Davis Cathedral, I believe, opening up the season.
got to share what your alma mater was. What were you telling us at halftime,
I got a text from a friend saying little old Eastern Hancock came out of the gates firing. They were up 36-7 after the first quarter. They're playing Greencastle tonight, a team that they have, I don't believe, have played before. Greencastle, of course, west of Indianapolis, so it's quite a drive for Eastern Hancock. But now I'm getting a score that we're up 50-7 at halftime. So on pace for a good old 100 burger tonight. That's pretty cool.
Looks like Schenkel up the gap again here. Looks like for give him about 11 on the play there. See where they spot it. Yeah, 11 yards on the carry.
Schenkel, a couple of good runs back to back, goes for 6 and then 11. Ball marked at the 32. Another gift to Schenkel. He's becoming the workhorse.
Give him 4 there.
Schenkel has 12 carries for 40 yards. Get another whistle and another Mount Vernon players down.
Well, as much as they were strong running back by committee, both these teams last year, Coach Herbert had indicated that Schenkel would certainly be more of the heavy dose of that this year.
First it was the quarterback Meyer, then the wide receiver Ashley. Those two guys playing both sides, as does Evan Privet. He's the one that's down for Mount Vernon. So that's 3 Marauders players dealing with cramps. They're down on the turf. We'll step aside and see if Privet gets up and is ready to get back out there. 7-0, Noblesville leads. They have the football and driving.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort, fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand-cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there is
So Privet is up and taking off the field. We'll try this again. 2nd and 6. Another big hole, this time for the running back Clark. His 4th carry. Gets things across the 40. And a pick up of 4. Third down and 2 for Noblesville.
Here we go.
Another run, another first down. Clark going back-to-back, gets things to the 45, 5-yard pickup.
Great job keeping his legs going there, kind of what we refer to as the yaks, and being the yards after contact. So great job there on back-to-back carries that we've seen here from Clark. He's the sophomore, just the 5'7" sophomore. Around for a few more years.
One of the shorter backs. Can get through some of those smaller crevices. A nice rollout, a nice connection between Hutchins and Cody Prater. Prater picks up his 2nd catch, but will it count? There is a penalty marker down.
Yeah, really good rollout by Hutchins. Really had good balance and really threw that really well to get out of the pocket and then get the first down. But we'll see if it stands or not here with the officials making our call now.
The Millers
it's coming back.
Yep, they're making the trick back. Illegal formation.
Certainly things to talk about tomorrow morning at films, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these are the types of things, again, that they'll get cleaned up. Jumping out the gate as we are here tonight in week 1, certainly to be expected with some of the things that we're seeing.
So first down and 15. They'll go back to Clark. Starts right, moves back left, and is met face-to-face with Kyle Ostrike.
Well, certainly finding some things now in their run game, and a lot of that is those guys up front really creating some holes, but certainly give Clark a lot of credit. 3 of the last 4 plays and getting some great positive yardage in hitting these seams.
Second down and 8. A lot of runs this drive. They go back to Clark, and Clark stays on his feet, bouncing off of guys, and just kind of keeps the ball tucked real close, keeps it moving forward. It'll set up a 3rd down and 2. Watch him move his own lineman out of the way, who took out 2 guys. 3rd down and 2 upcoming. Coach Leidy wants to talk things over defensively. Can probably expect a run, whether it be Clark or Schinkel. Our Otters might be looking to pack the box. Before this 3rd down and 2, we want to let you know this 3rd quarter is brought to you by LifeWise Academy. LifeWise programs support educators and communities by improving student outcomes. With LifeWise Academy, your community can bring biblical values back into the classroom. Call them today at 614-367-5767. So here we go. Heavy formation is out there. Hutchins in the pistol. It's a snap. It's a give. Clark again gets to the 45. It's going to be close.
Looks like they're in a spot just short, maybe on it.
Looks like the 45 is the yard to gain. And
yeah, it should be good. They haven't waved them on yet, but yeah, there they are. But definitely hit the line. Certainly have some things now moving again in terms of this line, and establishing this run game gives them a little bit of clock management as well. Certainly found a little bit more that they're seeing here so far with Clark than what they were receiving with Heil.
Oh, yeah.
Another give to Clark. Throws a shoulder at the defender, gets it down to the 35. 10-yard pickup for Clark, who, the short little stocky sophomore, having an impact. It was a heavy dose of Schinkel, and now Clark is having some fun. New set of downs. Well, Vernon had some guys running off late. Clark will bounce it outside this time. Boy, he just keeps his legs going. The guys are much bigger than him, but it doesn't matter. He's a tough little runner.
Yeah, low center of gravity as they bring Schinkel back in, but certainly he's given them, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was 6 carries in a row. But certainly a great job there, like you indicated, just keeping those feet moving and just showing some great strength and accepting contact as well.
Hutchins with Schinkel, who just checked in for Clark. Shakes 2 defenders, a stiff arm to the 3rd, inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Noah Schinkel with those fresh legs coming in.
That's exactly what I was just getting ready to say, what that might be there, Jared, is fresh legs, being out 6 plays, come right in and hit him with that. So between Schinkel and what you see with Clark and Heil, looks like we have another player down. I think it was at the.
They're at
the 5. Should have been about a 25-yard run, I believe. I think they started at the 30, if I'm not mistaken.
A long run for Schinkel, the longest offensive play for Noblesville so far this game. And a difference, too, is we've seen, 4 or 5 guys now cramping up.
Well, here's the thing that you got with that, too, with Mount Vernon is they're the team out of these 2 that are playing more guys on 2 and 3 areas of the ball, even with special teams. Noblesville has a few, but being a bigger numbers, I think that you're at a position where Mount Vernon's playing more guys on both sides. That could certainly take its toll on the body as well.
First and goal upcoming for Noblesville. It's been a long third quarter. We started, I believe, around 8:35, maybe closer to 8:30, and it's been nearly half an hour of play still. Just under 4 minutes left to go. Schinkel will stay out there. Hutchins will stay in the pistol, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, although Hutchins doesn't see the snap come in.
Something dealing with the 5-yard line. You get to the 5 or inside. It's the 3rd botch snap that we've had. But nonetheless, they'll regroup here with 2nd down. Spreading them out.
Yeah, quick chat and maybe the same play coming up here. Just having to go a little bit farther. 2nd and goal, the give to Schinkel. Following the lead block of his tight end and trying to get a push from Hutchins. They're going to push him all the way down to the 1.
I had a few linemen. Then we got a flag after the play.
Calvin Moody was supplying a nice lead block for Hutchins, and maybe some chit-chatting afterwards that is going to go against somebody.
And look, according to the official, it looks like they're talking more to Mount Vernon. I don't know if that's a sign that this may be coming against them. They've only give them about another yard as the lead official's coming over to let Coach Leidy know what's taking place, which might lead you to believe, again, it's on Mount Vernon. And,
Braden Robinson, Alex Robbins, the 2 that kind of the meat of that defensive line.
Unsportsmanlike. Be half the distance. Still 3rd down here.
And Robinson, the one that's going to be coming off.
Easy work for the official. Just take 1 step. But probably anticipate that certainly be 4 down territory if they don't get it here, but lining up from the 1 here on 3rd down.
Hutchins, quick give to Schinkel, and he's across. Second touchdown of the game for Noah Schinkel, the junior, and that extends the Noblesville lead 13-0. A long drive, all runs, and it pays off as they find the black turf.
Yeah, the only pass that that was made on that drive was one that was for 14 yards that got called back on a penalty. So it negated that, and you're right. Every single play was a run, something that was established, and this Noblesville community has been accustomed to seeing. Like we talked about before, this is a team that last year averaged 280 yards a game on the ground. So they're used to the ground and pound, if you will, and trying to go up here by 14.
Lytle's in for the PAT. It is up and good. That makes it 14-0. A nice little cushion now for Noblesville. The road team on top of Mount Vernon. The Marauders looking for an answer.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
2 touchdowns for Noah Schinkel. The difference in this one is Noblesville on top of Mount Vernon 14-0. A few kind of quick tidbits from that last drive. One, a long drive, 11 plays for Noblesville. All runs. You wear out the defense, and we saw no less than four or five guys jog off the field with cramps for Mount Vernon. So kind of a couple different factors there. The heat, the conditions, but also the Noblesville run game has really taken its toll.
No, it has, and certainly opened some things up as bring Clark in. We said ran him 6 times in a row. Schinkel's getting good rest, and what's he do? Comes in first play on the 7th one and takes it 30 yards. But certainly established their run game on that possession, chewed up a lot of the clock, and like you indicated, Jared, really wore down the Mount Vernon Marauders.
A bobble on the kickoff again. It's Privet who doesn't field it cleanly. Luckily, though, gets back on it. Marauders will start things off at their own 23. This third quarter of play brought to you by Wheeler Mission. For over 131 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar of the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to those in need. You can volunteer today by calling them at 317-686-6239. So all those guys who were cramping up, Meyer, Privet, Ashley, they're all out there for this offensive drive. That'll start 1st and 10 at the 23. First drive of the second half was a 3-and-out for Mount Vernon. Before we get a play, we get a whistle. False start, somebody on the offensive line. That's now the 10th penalty against Mount Vernon.
Yeah, again, first game or not, that's just too many. Certainly with a quarter to go. Certainly, and a lot of these has been dead ball. There's been at least 3, if not 4 of them before the ball's even snapped. So those are even tougher.
Meyer immediately looks to his left. Hampton out in the flat, stood up. Good open field tackle by Noblesville's Austin Donahue.
It's certainly great technique of what you want. Kind of backpedal, read the play, keep your guy underneath you, and then close. And did a great job of doing that with pursuit of the ball and getting him wrapped up. So really good job there by Austin.
Gain of 2. Hampton's second catch, 2nd and 13. The run to Privet, getting rid of the lineman who had a block on him and trying to set the edge. Cale Metzler in there on the tackle.
Again, great job of holding right there where he's at, holding his position, reading the play, shedding his blocker at that time, and then making the play there for, again, no gain. In a position where they're at 3rd and long here, setting up to, they can get a stop to be having some real good field position.
Another 3rd down and long that Mount Vernon is facing. Meyer will roll out to his right. Reverse course. Tucks it. Spin move. Gets it across the 20, but not back to the line of scrimmage. So another 3 and out forced by the Noblesville defense. The offense is still out there, but I can't imagine we will see anything but a timeout called and then the punt team come out. And the punt team's coming out late. Not sure if they'll have enough time to get this one off.
Looks like you're going to get the penalty again.
Yeah, they're not going to take the timeout. They're just going to take the delay of game. A lot of stoppages, a lot of yellow by both sides, but Mount Vernon with nearly twice as many penalties committed. It'll be Duncan for the 4th time, his punt. A low-line drive that Ty Holmes was moving towards, but gets away from, and it's stopped dead at the 34. Noblesville looks pretty good on their last drive. Run, run, run. A heavy dosage of Noah Schinkel, Ethan Clark. Schinkel has 14 carries, Clark 10, and the two combined have 110 yards rushing on the ground.
Well, and that's what, again, you might have expected a bit. Saw a little bit more of the balance in the first half. Second half has been quite a bit more run-heavy over the last 2 possessions that the Millers have had. So anticipate that you'll see a fair amount of that stay the same. Maybe kind of bait them in a sense of 3 or 4 maybe runs and then hit them with a pass. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen Moody and Hamer a bit more with the double tight ends.
This time, starting off the runs is Luke Heil. Heil has 4 yards on his 4th carry.
Well, and they're certainly no stranger to the running back by committee. We talked about that a little bit, and they have that shaping up a little bit with these 3 here that we've seen tonight in game 1.
The run game working so far this second half for Noblesville as they have extended their lead. It's now 14-0 as we head to the 4th and final quarter. The Marauders and the Millers. Week 1 on IndianaSRN.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine.
All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving.
When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get him.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the...
Welcome back to Hancock Health Stadium at Mount Vernon High School. The Marauders, though, trailing 14-0 Noblesville. To start off this drive, the Marauder defense ready for this run on the give to Heil. Actually goes backwards. Loses the 4 yards that he picked up on his previous run. A little bit of a tempo here for Noblesville. 3rd down and 11. Could see Hutchins put it through the air for the first time since the first half. He will. Out in the flat. He has his tight end close to midfield. Nearly crossed the 50-yard line goes Calvin Moody. Pushed out at the 49. That's plenty enough for a first down.
Well, and that's what, establishing that run game can do to you. And you just kind of catch them where you have more your backers and your line really crunching types, your A and B gaps, and then just getting your guy in motion and hitting him in the flat here. So really good play call there by this Miller offensive staff, and just trying to mix it up a little bit.
A lot of moving parts, and Moody gets lost and immediately met in the backfield. Big tackle by Kyle Ostrike.
Well, Kyle himself almost took the handoff, didn't he? Met him as soon as the handoff was exchanged, and almost got himself in a position where he was able to take it.
Heil, luckily, holding on to the football for Noblesville. But Ostrike, just a free rusher, came right over the center. Makes it 2nd and 14. Hutchins fakes the give.
Again.
Has his man open again. A good open field tackle. Moody on the reception, but it was Kyler Smith who limited him to just the 2 yards.
What I love about that is, you got a guys that's 5'6", 136 pounds, right there. Open field tackle on a guy that's 6'6", and 230. So,
yeah, you might as well say Moody's twice.
Yeah, he's 100 pounds underweight. Just what a great job of just, head up, making shoulder contact and getting him wrapped. Proves that technique will always win.
A 3rd and long. Heil takes the handoff. Across the 50 to the 48. Interesting spot here, but you'll play the field position again. You'll bring out Lytle, who's had some decent punts tonight, hoping to pin Mount Vernon inside the 20.
Well, both of these punters tonight have not only gotten a lot of action, but they've made the most of it, where both sides of these teams with their punters have really excelled tonight.
Another high kick that will bounce and go all the way down to the 1-inch line. Oh no, it was a touchback. The Millers let it go too far. They got too greedy.
Well, I think what happened there was when he fell on it, he broke the plane. So, all he had to do was just touch it. He didn't have to fall on it. But when he fell on it, his body went in there with it. So
a perfect punt from Lytle.
I'm sure Lytle have a little bit to say to the coverage on something like that, but well executed up until the part where you're down in the ball.
Instead, it'll be Mount Vernon at the 20. 9:03 to play. You want points this drive. You feel like you have to have them right here. Maybe a little change of pace, too. We've seen much more of the slower approach by both sides. Going to have to think the tempo will pick up in these final 9 minutes. Meyer dropping back. Will launch it deep down the sideline and overshoots everybody, going for the taller Mason Anderson.
Certainly one of the few deep balls that we've seen be thrown here from Myers tonight. So I appreciate trying to stretch and test the DBs, but that was there against Ty Holmes.
The DB's playing well off of Anderson, about 7 to 8 yards. They'll pitch it to Privet, and he's going to barely get it across the 20 for just a pickup of 1.
He's coming off now. Looks like he's holding his groin.
And also an offensive lineman getting checked out. Maybe just something up with the helmet. But the Marauders now seeing some seconds tick off. Another 3rd down and long situation that they're facing. They'll have 2 receivers up top. That's Hampton and Ashley. Meyer will roll that way. Being chased from behind. Has to just flick it out of bounds. Nowhere to go with the football.
Well, smart decision there by getting rid of it and instead of taking the sack. Again, you're seeing a lot of the pursuit now by the Millers over the last couple of possessions that you saw Mount Vernon doing that to Noblesville in the first half. So obviously in a punting situation here. Special teams have been getting a lot of action tonight. Just hasn't been the kickoff.
It's been a lot of John Duncan, the senior. This will be his 5th punt of the evening.
Get some stoppage here. Not sure what it's for, but I think it's going to be against Mount Vernon again.
I think it's another delay of game, it appears.
Yeah. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's their 4th.
It is. They have 4 of those, 2 false starts, 3 offsides on defense.
Yeah, it's tough stuff to clean up.
It'll be a long film room session, no matter how this one ends up on Monday for Mount Vernon. The return for Holmes, one of the first times we've seen him with the football in his hands, and he makes the most of it, gets it inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. Ty Holmes, he's only been spotlighted in the return game. Grabs it at the 45 for a 32-yard return.
That's a young man that led him in rushing last year, as we mentioned previously. Certainly one that you'd think that might have a few more touches offensively to make some things happen. However, here in the second half, the running back by committee between Heil, Clark, and Schinkel has certainly stood the test of time and given them some great success. Only has it resulted in 7 more points, but they certainly have done the bigger thing, and that is controlled the clock.
Gets it down to the 13. New quarterback in for
this is Corey.
Noblesville, yep.
Just a sophomore himself.
Woody Corey.
had some valuable reps. I mean, you got a situation where Hutchins won the job, but Herbert had also said on my call with him is that even though that Windsor was going to get the start, that it's not necessarily a seasonal type thing, that it's still an open competition.
Corey will keep it again. Bounces off a couple of guys, and there's a group there with Noblesville pushing the pile. No, Millers think he's in. No signal yet.
I thought he was clearly in, but they must have had him down inside the one. Or at the one, spot it.
Two tough carries for Woody Corey, and he's going to stay out there. Offense back out on the football.
He's like,
going
I'm
to keep it
my
again.
Number again.
Mount Vernon can't stop him. Woody Corey starts off that possession in place of Windsor Hutchins. Keeps it all 3 times. 3rd time's the charm. Noblesville now leads it 20-0.
He might have ran as fast back to the bench as he did into the end zone.
He's
gotta
fired
like
up.
that for the young man, just a sophomore. But, that's the great thing about Friday Night Lights and what we just talked about. It's still an open competition. And thought he got in the first time. He's like, I'm going to call my number here again. But nonetheless, Noblesville goes up with another score now. Up 3 scores, 21-0.
Lytle's PAT is good. That's the score, 6:39. Getting to be a little too late for Mount Vernon, as we will see the kickoff upcoming on the other side of this break.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
This is the hotel breakfast.
It looked different online.
Do you children like eggs? Here, they make your bones grow.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. All right, guys. Look alive.
Is it fine, Daryl?
I'm starving. When free hot breakfast can make or break your day, it matters where you stay.
Go get him.
Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the...
The run game has proven to be something Mount Vernon cannot stop. Noblesville makes it 21-0 after Woody Corey comes in on that possession at quarterback. All 3 runs, he keeps himself, and on the 3rd time, he hits pay dirt. Extends this lead, and the Millers may be on their way to their 5th straight opening season game against Mount Vernon.
Well, and to get it on the road, too, is always big. By no means is it over, but it's certainly looking much like that. And, yeah, I mean, to go to any road game and get those is certainly paramount, and one that's been a bit of a rivalry, if you will. But no, great piece to get. Got 6 minutes to go here, but to get the first one under the belt. And sometimes you're really in a position where you're trying to find your identity. A lot of new guys in new positions, new faces. You got a whole new system with Coach Herbert and his staff at Noblesville, and that's a big shift too. It's a big pivot for kids culturally. By now you're through the summer workouts and practices, but it's still some things to hear the vision being casted, but to be in a position to buy into that.
Scoreboard update from one of our other SRN games. Park Tudor over Covenant Christian, 37-19. They're still in the 3rd quarter. Meanwhile, nice first play here as Meyer hooks up with Crew Hampton. Hampton's 3rd catch is good for 14 and a first down. And now we see the up-tempo offense by the Marauders. Ball's placed. Meyer, catch and throw, and way wide of Ashley on the far sideline. Meyer's thrown the ball 14 times. He's completed 7 of those passes, so 50%. Last year as the starting quarterback, over 1,100 yards, but added 400 on the ground, so 1,500 total yards and 18 total scores. Nothing to show for yet tonight. Another pass complete to Hampton. Tackled at the 42. Hampton, a nice little slot guy. I mean, you can just tell by his build, but getting involved on quick catches, also a few things over the middle of the field, proving to be one of the top targets early on this season, it appears, for Mount Vernon. Another pass off the fingertips this time of Hampton. So now 4th down and 3 upcoming.
On all these 4 passes that we've had out of the last 5 plays has been something that you just mentioned, Jared, where Mason's getting the ball back really quick. Just a 2-step drop and really getting it out quick, trying to chew up a little bit of the field at a time. The tough thing is it's taken, a bit more of the time. 2 of those have been incomplete, so if they get anything down the field.
4th and 3 could be the nail in the coffin. And it is a sack for Noblesville. A couple of guys there to give the ball back to their offense. Aiden Kincaid, one of them. Ryan Overly, 2 upperclassmen immediately getting to the backfield and taking Meyer down for the loss and giving the ball back to their offense.
One great pursuit there. I think Mason tried to split the 2 defenders there and trying to make something happen, which again is something in his wheelhouse and his ability, but certainly didn't pay off there as Noblesville gets the stop to be able to take over well into their opponent's positive side of the field here. Would anticipate that we would see a big run heavy dose here on this possession.
And to start things off, it'll be Ethan Clark in the backfield. He takes the handoff from Hutchins, who's back out there. You can just notice the difference right away is big holes opened up by that offensive line of Noblesville. They've been good all night. Clark picks up 7 on first down. Those first 2 plays of the set of downs that Noblesville has, they are, making the most of them with 4-yard gains, 6-yard gains here and there.
Well, and Clark, as he had those 6 plays earlier last quarter and then was out for a fair amount, comes right back in and picks up right where he left off.
Another give to Clark. Mount Vernon defense into the backfield to take him down immediately. No gain there, but Noblesville more worried about, more focused, I should say, on just letting this clock wind down as much as it can.
I figure you get 2 first downs. If you do that, you can run the clock out between the play as well as what the play clocks are.
Man in motion. Drop snap, though, so Hutchins just has to fall on it. So 4th down and 7. Noblesville kind of with whatever they want to do here. If they want to pick up the first down, they can try to air it out. Down to 3.5 minutes. Hutchins will take the snap. will fake it one way and dish it out to his tight end, Moody, but Moody is tackled in the open field. Looked like he was going to have a path to the first down marker, but just a yard short. A great open field tackle to give the Marauders back the football, but Noblesville able to chew some clock there, get it down to 3 minutes, 12 seconds with just 2 timeouts for Mount Vernon. It doesn't look like, we've seen some crazy stuff, but it doesn't look like with the way the Noblesville defense has been playing too that Mount Vernon will be able to mount a comeback in this one.
Well, and the thing that you certainly can appreciate is how Mount Vernon's still competing. I mean, being down 21 and in a position where you're not very likely to make that up, but still playing hard and competing and having the pride factor in, if you will. So certainly Coach Leidy's going to his backups at this point, which it appears Noblesville has done a little bit in the same.
Still missing a guy, though. They need a left tackle. Snap to the quarterback, throw out to the flat, and it's going to be a catch for Bryson Terry. Sophomore makes the reception on the pass from Luke Dirks, junior quarterback. A lot of those second stringers, JV guys, going to get some action in week 1. High snap, Dirks picks it up, has some open field in front of him. Able to get the edge. Wrapped up, tackled out of bounds, but a good gain of 5 for the junior quarterback. I think definitely the thing that's going to stick out on the side of Noblesville, the run game, able to establish that. Noah Schinkel, Ethan Clark doing most of the heavy lifting. Windsor Hutchins not really having to do a whole lot. And sometimes that's what you got to do as a quarterback. Just manage the game, take what the defense gives you. And really what it was, hey, we have an offensive line that's better than your defensive line. We're just going to take advantage of that, and we're going to make some zone reads and allow Schinkel and Clark, guys like that, to do the rest of the damage.
No, and that's exactly what they've done. This is a great point, too. Is a lot of times you got to tell your quarterbacks sometimes it's not always that you got to go out and win it as much as you have to do what you just indicated, Jaron, that is to manage it, to lead it, and make the reads, understand the tempo of the game. They obviously established, the running game here in the second half that's just really controlled a lot of the clock as well. But then they've also answered by getting stops, and then, Mount Vernon just really hurt themselves with 4 or 5 dead ball penalties, 3 of them that resulted in giving Noblesville first downs, and then even on the offensive side of the ball as well.
On the side of Mount Vernon, those penalties will get talked about. It'll be a long film session Monday, making sure guys are in the right formation, guys are in the right sets, spots, and also that some guys can step up. Mason Meyer, we called his name a lot in that first half, having to extend plays. Crew Hampton is going to be the leading receiver with 4 catches. Here's a deep ball down the field, a wide open man for Mount Vernon, making the catch. Noah Hankley.
Get a score after all.
They just might. Clock will stop at 1:08. Luke Dirks, I think, kind of had wide eyes and thought, how did he get that wide open down the field? Catches it at the 20. Hankley then tackled at the 8.
The starting defense for the Millers is certainly trying to say, hey, we got you this lead and don't want you to give them up a score. So pride factor really comes into play here and keeping them to a shutout. But Mount Vernon is hoping to have something different to say about it.
Dirks looking to run with it. Gang tackled at about the 5. Clock will keep on running. Marauders do have their timeouts. It's
looks like they're fine on not using them though, which is a bit interesting because in these moments you're playing for something bigger than just what's in front of you. These are game situational moments, even if they're with backups, for you as a staff as well as just a play calling standpoint.
A fling into the end zone. It's tipped and looks like it's caught. It is. Touchdown Marauders.
Now he's going to get a flag because he pushed him after he scored. So
Bryson Terry was the one who made the catch, and then a little extracurricular afterwards.
Yeah, things like that. Certainly got to have more composure. Of course, we're not there on the field to know what was said or done, but what we did say is Bryson obviously shoving him after the score.
So the referee's just announcing here soon the flag on Terry. The touchdown will stand and comes on the very last play for the Marauders. They'll stay out there for a 2-point try.
I don't know if they're telling Coach Leidy that I don't know if he was saying that he was ejected, but he's still out there on the field is what I thought the official, but maybe not.
We've seen a little
he's still out there.
Jarring, a few unsportsmanlike penalties called in this game early on, but nothing too crazy that warrants an ejection. Mount Vernon will call a timeout before their 2-point try. It'll be a lengthy one as the 15-yard penalty will push them back to the 18-yard line. And we'll let you know that these final moments of action are brought to you by the Morales Group Staffing, in business to create a better future for you, your family, and the community that we share. Whether you're looking for the right career or the perfect candidate, we're here to help. Call Morales Group at 317-472-7600. Also, if you want to become an IndianaSRN sponsor and support high school and college athletics across Indiana, putting your business in front of thousands of loyal viewers each week, you can contact the coach. His email is coach@IndianaSRN.
Interesting 2-point conversion from the 18-yard line. So
don't see this too often. Dirks will take a deep drop, rolling to his right, and nothing doing there. 2-point try, unsuccessful. We'll take our final break of the evening. Noblesville on their way to a win, 21-6, a good way to start the season. Doing it on the road, too. We'll be back for the final 5.8.
Bible-based character education to public school students during school hours. Not before school and not after, but during school hours.
So here's how this works. The students will leave this school building, hop on this bus, take a short ride across the street to the church. I can see the steeple from here, have Bible class, hop back on the bus, head back to school. It's that simple.
Go to lifewise.org to find your school.
And the Noblesville sideline dancing and cheering after their performance. The coaches might be thinking a little a little bit differently. They're always thinking about what was bad, what needs changed, what needs fixed, and what they're going to be talking about at Monday's practice. But a win's a win, and it's a good way to start the first year under Coach John Herbert at Noblesville, who a previous state champion with Carmel, coached 10 years there, state titles in 2016 and 2019. On the return, the Millers clock has hit 0. That'll be the final play of the game. And a good way to start things off in the John Herbert season for the Noblesville Millers as they again defeat Mount Vernon to open the season. That's 5 straight years that the Millers have done that against Mount Vernon. The last time the Marauders beat Noblesville was back in 2020. Final score 21-6. We'll step aside real quick and be back to give you some final numbers and also look ahead to the games that we'll have next week. That's coming up next on IndianaSRN.
Big play here for Mount Vernon. Hurdle looking right, now over the middle, fires, and it's in there for a touchdown. What a throw. Boy, what a stick, huh? Side out, back to the middle, and guess what? You want a point on the other side, you go to Taylor Lewis.
Here's Freeman. Has an opening shot. Score!
Stafford around a screen. Skip pass. Mays with 3. Mays drive. Floater up and in at the horn.
Hand off, and nice hole over the near side. 40, 35, 30. Block to the outside. 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. And that's a big one right there. And finally, somebody gets on the board.
Wrapping things up from Fortville, Indiana and Mount Vernon High School, it's the Noblesville Millers starting off the 2025 season with a victory on the road, 21-6. They finish off Mount Vernon. Craig Cox is here. I'm Jarrett Lewis. A quick recap. We'll go over the numbers real fast. First for Mount Vernon. Throwing the football, the junior quarterback Mason Meyer, 15 attempts, was 7 of 15 for 99 yards. The running game, really a non-factor. As a team, the Marauders had less than 20 yards rushing on the ground. Crew Hampton had a decent game, receiving 4 catches for 27 yards. He led them in offense, but in total, 5 punts for the Marauders, 2 fumbles, and 2 times that they turned the ball over on downs. A different story for, real quick also, to the penalties for Mount Vernon. They finished with 12, so a dozen penalties. Coach Leidy will have a lot to discuss in next week's practice as they prepare for their game next week. As for Noblesville, Windsor Hutchins was starting quarterback, 6 of 10 for 74 yards, but running the football was the big thing for Noblesville. They started off running the ball well. Then Mount Vernon's defense was able to adjust and play a lot better in that second quarter. But then Noah Schinkel, Ethan Clark, those two combined for nearly 120 yards together running the football. Schinkel has his 2 scores, and then the backup quarterback, Woody Corey, came in for a fourth quarter drive, and he had a touchdown run as well to make up the 21 points for Noblesville. The discussion will be that run game, and it's no surprise. Coach Herbert talked about it with you in your guys' talks this week that they were going to run the football. It'd be a committee, but it looks like Schinkel and Clark are the two-headed monster that really just engines, guys that keep their feet moving and picked up a lot of yards after contact and yards that resulted in scores later on down the road.
No, and there's great power in numbers, and so anytime you can do something by committee and spread the ball around, but furthermore, it just keeps guys fresh. And we saw that a lot in the second half, and it was a tale of 2 halves in terms of the run game. I think it's something that Mount Vernon could never really get established. Had to rely probably a little bit more on Mason Myers than they would have really liked to. Kind of took a toll a little bit more in the second half, and I think Noblesville keyed in on that and just had him covered a bit more. And then, again, I give the guys up front for Noblesville on that O-line some credit for the holes they were creating, and then for the backs that did their job in establishing the clock for a 21-6 victory here in week 1.
A lot of punts, too, for Noblesville. Some penalties to go over, but half the penalties that Mount Vernon had, and also a team that looks better conditioned, looked to be in better shape, able to run the football the way they did. That offensive line has to be proud. The coaching staff has to be proud of the way that the offense and the offensive line looked here tonight. Luke Heil, also another guy who got some touches, and Calvin Moody leading the team in receptions tonight, 4 for 36 yards from the quarterback, Windsor Hutchins. We'll take a look now at our games for next week. We had 3 games tonight. We'll have 3 more for you in week 2 of IndianaSRN high school football coverage. Mount Vernon will be back at home. They're taking on Franklin. It'll be their second and final non-conference game of the season, trying to bounce back with a win. And then Hamilton Heights will travel to Triton Central, and we'll see them for the first time this season. Also, 2 familiar foes, Cecina and Heritage Christian, should be a good one. The Eagles always seem to be good, always have good football seasons, and we'll be covering them as the season goes along. But the 2025 season is underway. Right. Craig Cox, any other final thoughts after week 1 and what we saw from Fortville tonight?
No, I think, it's always exciting when you can get the excitement of going into week 1 and kicking off Friday Night Lights, as we talked about in opening a part of our segment. But now that we're in a position where we got week 1 under our belt, these teams will look to say, hey, what adjustments, pivots do we need to make? And looking for week 2, we talked about Mount Vernon hosting Franklin. Noblesville is in their home opener against Homestead.
So for the final time, the final score, 21-6, Noblesville beats Mount Vernon to take week 1 of the 2025 football season in the IHSAA. From our cameraman, David Moore, our producer tonight, Ben Wood, and for Craig Cox, I'm Jarrett Lewis saying so long for now. We'll see you next week for more Indiana high school football right here on IndianaSRN.